All this month, we've been focusing a lot on the Niagara Children's Center and what they do for the community. Of course, the center helps every child that they come in contact achieve their unique potential so that they can all take part in things at home and in the community, just be kids. And they get some government funding, but not enough to meet all the needs of the community. There are still too many families waiting for help. There are too many kids who are not getting the help they need right now. They're on the list, but the funding just isn't there. And that's what our Help Kids Shine campaign goes a lot to helping. Funds raised will help with the cost of unfunded therapy positions, to purchase therapy supplies, medical equipment that's used for treating children. My guest this morning is the manager of rehabilitation services for the Children's Center, Dorothy Harvey. Good morning, Dorothy. Welcome.
Good morning, Tim.
Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, as an administrator, I'm responsible for oversight of the clinical programs that we run, primarily for the kids who are more complex, and for what we would consider our single-service physiotherapy and occupational therapy services. So I have a staff, about 43 staff, and a lot of my responsibility is making sure that our programs are running smoothly, that we're doing things that are responsive for families. In my portfolio, I'm responsible for our quality management services. We're an accredited organization. We also have a very robust family engagement program, which is really getting our families involved in helping us to shape our services and determining the types of services and supports that other families can have.
We know, I think, what rehab services are for adults. When you hear the term rehab for children, it may be a little different when you put the word children and the word rehab in the same sentence. How significant an issue is this?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct, Tim, in terms of looking at, we typically think about rehab as being, rehabilitation after some type of event. And we definitely have children that have that in terms of kids that have had acquired brain injuries or other significant traumas where we're now seeing them after that. But more of our service would be more typically considered habilitation, where we're helping children who have already been born with some type of a disability or a disorder, and we're actually starting to help them with their development as well as with achieving some of those skills. So many of our kids haven't experienced, an adult typically would have learned how to walk and talk, and then now we're trying to get them back to that. With children, we have a double kind of service that we have to provide. First, we have to help them just with their day-to-day kind of issues, but we also have to help them develop and play and learn how to do the things that we take for granted.
Is it frustrating for you when you see that there are more kids who need help than you have the capacity to help?
I would say frustrating is probably a soft word.
Yeah.
For me, it's, I'm often the one that families are calling, and it's just heartbreaking sometimes because, to know now that your child has some specific issues or needs for services, and I'm the one that has to say, I'm sorry, but we have a wait list. And in some cases, that wait might be 6 to 8 months. I mean, that feels like a lifetime for so many of our families.
And for kids that age, it's almost a lifetime.
Yes, it is. It certainly is, in terms of looking at when you think about some of those critical periods when we're learning things, those first 6 months or 8 months or the time between a year and 2 years when we're developing our language skills. 8 months really is a significant chunk of time out of their development.
When you say to somebody that, I'm sorry that we're on the waiting list, I mean, how significant would a contribution this morning of $20, $50, $100 be if it came from, 5, 10, 15, 20 people? Well,
definitely our donated dollars are what keep us from having a longer wait list. So it certainly increases the access to service for our families. So if we didn't have our donated funds, we wouldn't have the capacity that we currently have. I mean, they represent a good chunk of my budget for sure, and they certainly provide us with some of those. They both provide us with the services that are going to help mitigate the weight, but they also provide us with some of those extra services. So, for example, our recreation services, where we are trying to get kids out into the community, all of those types of services help us to actually move kids through the cycle and then free up a spot for another child as well. So the more that we have those funds available to us, it does two things. First, it mitigates the wait, so it makes sure that we don't have a longer waiting list. It decreases the amount of wait time that families experience. And I would say a third thing that it does is it enables us to provide some of those supports and services that families might need to go to outside of the area.
We appreciate all the work that you do, and thanks for bringing this to our attention. We're always... we always want to be able to get across to people how important it is, and thanks for making us aware of all of that this morning, Dorothy. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim, for your support as well.
Dorothy Harvey is the manager of rehab services for the Niagara Children's Center. Remember, there are so many ways you can help. Instant donations by texting, instant donations by calling the office, instant donations by going down. And let me give you, just for a second. If you were to become a monthly Giving Club member, $15 a month, that's $15 a month, you could provide textbooks for 3 families to participate in parent training. It would also an assessment for an individual child to find out why they aren't talking or why they aren't walking. Your gift, that one gift, would do that. Or a feeding assessment that will help determine why a child may be having difficulty with eating. A session for family members to address the unique needs about why a brother or sister has special needs. That's what that funding goes to, and we can't emphasize enough how important it is that the Children's Center get our support, because the government support only goes so far. So let's help kids shine. You can donate online at helpkidsshine.ca. You can call them at 688-3550. Very easy to do that, or drop by. And, of course, you can go to our website at any time at 610cktb.com, and we have all the information right there for you. And it's all laid out so you know how you can help and where it's going to go to. Thanks to Dorothy, and thanks to you for helping out our Help Kids Shine campaign all the month of May.